the Below is live.
Let's look back to 1955, the 17th of January, when Awolowo launched free education in the western part of Nigeria.
Well, first of all, I can talk about this. I wasn't a direct beneficiary, but I was 1954 in Standard 5. We were to finish in Standard 6 because the region was moving from 8-year primary to 6 years. We had to take the same examination as those in Standard 6, and I was lucky to come out. And the following year came what they call the secondary modern school, which absorbed the battalion of those who couldn't go to the main secondary school, a 3-year course, which I'm the beneficiary of. Luckily, I didn't continue to any formal primary or secondary again till I came to study in this university. So in that case, I'll be a beneficiary. But I lived through it, and I've written about it. First of all, Awolowo had a vision. He had lived through this society. He had been self-educated up to BCom, the degree of BCom. And he knew what change opportunities for education will make in people. And he also knew the value of what we now call basic education, which is not just a question of years, but a question of what you got in it. He also knew that he needed the people. And you could see it took a long time in planning, because it has to be a consultative process. Because planning is not a question of writing something on a piece of paper. That is a document. The real plan is in the minds of people. And I could remember the type of jingles. Free education school in the Western region, register, and the Yoruba version of that. So before it ever came, people were already ready.
It was a movement.
Yes. And remember, it was also people-oriented.
He discussed with the people.
Not only that, I'll take one example. One result of free primary was an upsurge in number of people ready for secondary education. And 1955 witnessed the expansion of secondary education in Western Nigeria. And it was mainly community efforts. So we live in the city of Ibadan. Loyola College, 1973. Yejide Grammar School, 1976. Ibadan High School, 1955. St. Patrick's, 1955. Lagelu, 1955. These were all community. Sometimes the churches and Muslim faiths followed them. But imagine what the situation could have been if you didn't have those. And you go from place to place. I later found myself teaching in Bwangong Omo Grammar School, Origbo Community High School in Ife, Ikwetu Modu, and so on. It was because you were doing with the people that the people also, on their own accord, started their own secondary schools. And the secondary schools then were not, you needed community effort before government granted approval. When I taught in Origbo community, the first 4 years, everything was community-based, self-financing, if you like. And the 4th year, we were inspected by government. And when you say inspection, they will watch every teacher teach. They watch the equipment, the services, and all that. Then, when you got that approval, government gave you some grant, but they never gave you the entirety of what you requested for. The rest was called assumed local contribution. And it was after government approval that WAEC came again to inspect. And that's why most of those schools spend 6 years to get a school certificate instead of 5. And why it could make you 5 years if you showed progress. So you can see it's a combination of so many things. But we learned a few lessons from that. We still have in this country, and we've had it since independence, the question of data drought. We don't know how many people we have. And so the projection that was made in terms of how many people will be ready for primary education January 1955 was overtaken because we didn't know that.
Awolowo made a point that only educated person can play a full and meaningful role in the affairs of society.
And that's what society has always done, whether you were living in 1800 or 100 BC. Those who've emerged as leaders, those who've changed the course of history, are only those whose minds have been transformed through education.
That Awolowo made that venture, how would you describe his mind?
He had a vision. He has been through hardship. He had acquired education the hard way, and he knew what the benefits were. And he also knew that you have to lay a solid foundation. And that was what he tried to do, using the limited means at the time. And most importantly, he carried the people along. And it had its impact on Western Nigeria. The challenge today is to go back and inject quality into the good work, the good foundation that Awolowo laid.
Do you think there can be democracy without people that are educated?
There cannot be. There will be chaos instead. People will follow you up like any sheep of goats, but they will not make any change, and you yourself will not grow because you think you know everything.
Is Nigeria chaotic?
I think that's what it is. You came through a traffic jam today. Is that not chaotic?
Is it because we are not educated enough?
We are not educated. Well, many people have been to school, but the number is not even enough. And those who've been to school have been through school, but the school has not been through them.
We need education revolution.
We need societal change, attitudinal and value orientation, all true. And as I said earlier, this is a question of the egg and the hen again. And where do you start? Where do you start? And I think in this case, we need it to be led by a government, because that's where governance comes in. That is, what do we need to get along in this society? But education, I agree with you, but we're not saying schooling. We mean education in the true sense of the term. Whether you are in school, out of school, young, adult, old, how can we change your mindset and your value orientation?
Professor Banya, more than 10 million Nigerian children are out of school. Mm-hmm. Does that strike fear into you?
First of all, you see, I know about this. I've followed it over the years. But you see, we are not tackling the problem. Where are these people located? They are not located in Nkalagu, and they are not located in Egbado or Yawa department. They are located in specific parts of this federation.
Are you talking about the northern part?
Well, wherever it is, they are also located in the slums of our various cities. They are located among the poorest of the poor in wherever we are. So, first of all, please, you do solve the problems of education outside the education sector as well. Raising people living standards is also another way of changing so many things. And everything you do for health impacts on education. What you do for agriculture impacts on education. What you do for communication, road transport, everything impacts on education. So what we should be doing, one, go to each locality and do a problem 3 analysis. What is the root cause of this in this locality?
Is it not poverty?
Well, until, let's be sure, And you can only do that when you are working with the people. With the people. With the people.
Do we need to generate good data?
Of course, data drought is our number one problem. A country that doesn't know its population. You know, all this you're quoting, the problem of our data is this. For years, when you saw the education data, Nigeria will be listed as N/D, no data. Later, it became latest year available. So if you are publishing African Educational Report for 2018, the data for Nigeria will be 1988. Now, what we have is multiple source data, UNESCO data, UNICEF data, World Bank data. We don't have Nigeria generated data.
State Affairs with Edmond is live.